Dear God Almighty, I did not plan this out enough, by the way. Just so we all are aware. I did not plan this out enough before I hit start. Which, to be fair, I never do plan it out fully, so... Let's take this off real quick. Y'all get to see my wonderful Mario Kart. Ignore that. Alright. So, let's do... There we go. So as you can see, there's a little bit of data. There's just a little bit of data. You know what I mean? Alright, let me quickly send out the notification to my Discord. Because as per usual, most of them do not show up until I send the notification. Uploads. Cunt. Oh, that's not the right one. You should watch out. I'm gonna be honest, most of these are usernames. And most of them cannot be tied to people in reality. Because I'm pretty sure that's a username. This one is definitely not. I'm gonna quickly switch this. There we go. Username. I feel like that's our username. If that's somebody's real name, I'm impressed. It has Dapper real name. Where do you see this? Wait, no, genuinely, where do you see this? Are my eyes going too fast? I feel like I don't see it. Okay, anyway, let me finish what I was doing. I will not reference the unfunny numbers. I don't trust you. There we go. Okay. That's finished. Sorry, give me 1 second. Again, I really was not as prepared for this as I intended to be, and you know, that's just kind of what you have to expect when I stream. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of just comes with the territory of being a Chris fan. Chris people's names. Most of these are username. Okay, is there another one on screen? Is there genuinely another one on screen? Because this one I'm pretty sure is a username. Is there another username on screen? Because if I scroll down, you can't, like, nothing else. Like, I think I'm fine. Anime Cyclone is not a real name. I hate to tell you this. Anime Cyclone is not a real game. It's still safer to hide them. Oh my god. Let me, hold on. There we go. Hi, Anonymous Chameleon. Alright, hold up. Let me quickly... I thought you meant username. Nobody cares about the usernames! Alright, hold up. You know, that's not exactly what I meant to do. Yeah, that works. Yeah, that works. Alright, so everything is now just not funny. I hit the wrong button. So, we're kind of just gonna have to live with that now. My fault. Hi, Cookie. Okay, do I still have everything pulled up? I do. Okay. So now, this still brings me to the other core problem I'm having. I need to figure out a way to pull the actual tier lists up on screen. Because I did go through the process of, like, filling them out. Let me see if I can... Microsoft print to PDF. Save as... Nope, that doesn't work. Why can't I just print this as a PDF? Hold on, wait, I'm figuring it out. Okay, so that cuts it off. Print. Yeah, don't worry, guys. I am the most prepared content creator you're ever gonna meet. Don't you worry. I have got everything under control. Portrait. Tabloid. Print. Investment. Okay. I think I've done this correctly. Hold on one second. Hold. Yeah! Oh, we're so back, chat. We are so back. I finally did it. Okay! We're good! Sounds good, rolling downhill. This water is not open. Guys, I might be losing it. Just a little bit. Like, just a little bit. Okay. I will say, this looks, hideous. I hate how this looks. Yeah, okay, this'll do for now, so. Let's turn this back. Nope, that's not the right one. Entire screen. You are always losing it. Just because you're not wrong doesn't mean you gotta say it. A bit rude, really. Just a little bit rude. Alright, there we go. Okay. Well. We finally got it, chat. Behold! Nothing of value. Oh my god, that looks absolutely hideous. I hate that. That looks disgusting. Oh man. Alright, well, whatever. So, over here, let me hit. What the fuck? Wait, why am I... Something's wrong. Huh. I can't get out of... Oh my god, I give up. This sucks. Oh. We're going back to the spreadsheet. We're just going back to the spreadsheet. I'm actually losing my goddamn mind. I'm so frustrated. Okay, whatever. Alright, so anyway. So yeah, so this was the lists that a bunch of you submitted. And we put all the results together a little while ago. And this is what we ended up with. Now, this specifically is the 2 cost tier list. Or this is the 2 cost data. So, this is what people think of like E1 or E0 S1 versions of the characters. And I'm going to be honest, I actually think it's relatively accurate. So the highest score you can get on this is the highest score you can get is 5.0, and the lowest score is 1.0. So I'd like to quickly point out Arlen. Arlen did in fact have a negative score until we switched it so that if he was missing from a tier list, it would not count instead of being 0. So for a very brief section of making this list, Arlen was in fact at a 0.93, I think. Or it might have been a 0.96. Either way, Arlen was not doing well. Poor guy. He just wanted to be happy. So, I do find this really interesting. And then, let me see here. So, some of the other top characters were Anexa. And you can kind of scroll down and see the numbers. One person gave Anexa a 3. Keep in mind, this is at E0S1. They gave Anexa a 3. I'm just curious. Like, how did that one happen? So, I should mention, this tier list was released, like, right around the start of 3.8. That's when we collected data for everything. So, I don't know how we thought in 3.8 Anexa was a 3. That one throws me off heavily. Methodologically flawed data. Yeah, so this is the fun part about doing things like this, is that we always, like, shit on the most popular tier lists because, like, oh, this isn't accurate. This isn't, like, what I would have done. This isn't what I would say. But then when you actually poll, like, a bunch of people, these are the anomalies you end up with. Don hung IL with 3. Okay, we don't need to talk about that. We don't need to talk about that. I don't think anybody gave Don hung IL a 4. 4 people gave him a 3, though. Don hung IL did get 4 3s. So break is being boosted. Actually, the opposite. We initially started collecting data when Dahlia wasn't out. So as a result of that, every break character is lower than they should be, in my opinion. Because let's go take a look at, like, Firefly, who Dahlia was handmade for. 3.49, worse than Fei Xiao. Would any of you say that Fei Xiao is a better character currently than Firefly? Yeah, so slightly off data there. I think in reality, all of Break would be bumped up a whole point from where they are currently. So Firefly would be at like a 4.5. Boot Hill would be at a 4.37. And then, where's Rappa? Rappa, 2.94? Oh, God. What happened to Rappa, dog? Why is she so... God. She was one of the... Like, she was probably the best overall one for most of 3.x. Because everything was AoE shill. No one knows the power of Rappa. Okay, well, to be fair, I think Rappa's the worst out of the 3 right now. But before Dahlia, she was definitely, like... She was definitely good. Or she was definitely a bit better than the other two, because Jesus Christ almighty. AoE shill everywhere. They never had imaginary weakness. Okay, you're not wrong. Yo, where did you make that? Guys, I put out a Google form and had a bunch of people answer. Like, it was that simple. I just put out a form and had a bunch of people answer it. That's about it. That's all I did. Some of this got blacked out. Interesting. So, let's quickly look at this. So not a single person put Hyacinth any lower than 5. There is not a single person who put Firefly who put Hyacinth lower than 5. That hurts. Look at how high Jing Yuan got. Okay, so Jing Yuan got 2.49. Realistically, I don't think this is awful. Okay, hold on. Let me find some characters who were ranked similarly. So, normal Herda is ahead of Jing Yuan. That sucks. Himiko is right behind Jing Yuan. Jing Liu is slightly better than Jing Yuan. And then, let me see here. 2.54, Luocha is slightly better than Jing Yuan. Moz is slightly better than Jing Yuan. Okay, I can actually agree with that one. Topaz and Numbi are slightly worse than Jing Yuan. I also agree with that one. And then Yun Li's above him. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I do think that Jing Yuan is properly rated if you put the character, like, if you look at the characters in front of him and the characters behind him, I think he's properly rated. I will say, how he got to the score is really interesting. So, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3. Somebody put him as a 1. That's crazy. And then there's a 4. 2 people gave Jing Yuan a 4. Yeah, it's only 2 people. Seeing those 4s was demoralizing. What do you mean? Jing Yuan deserves it. He deserves at least something, considering this game actually hates him. Like, this game hates him to his core. It's insane. Fushuan is equal to Jing Yuan. That's true. To be fair, I would say Fushuan is slightly better only because sustain buff. But realistically, they're both pretty weak nowadays. But A tier, really? 2 people put him in A tier. Hey, man. Okay, I will say, the other thing that's killing me is that, like, this is 2 cost investment. So, in the best case scenario, you have Sunday and Sunday Light Cone, and then Jing Yuan and Jing Yuan Light Cone. That is a bit rough. Can we talk about people who rated Huohuo at 2? Oh my god! 1, 2, 3. 3 people rated Huohuo at 2? 4 people rated Huohuo at 2. Oh my god, really? It's like, it's mostly 4s. Huohuo got mostly 4s and a few 5s, a few 3s, but 4 people gave her a 2. Okay, but here's the thing. Like, if you have a certain account, I can see Huohuo seeming absolutely useless to you. Huohuo seems like she would be really, really useless to you if you have a certain account. Because, like, if you're running, like, the Chrysos heirs besides a Galaya, like, if you're using Mighty, if you're using Anexa, Castris, Evernight, Hysolins can actually use Huohuo, but I think DHPT is just so much better. Realistically, I think that Huohuo is going to seem pretty useless to you. And also, I have a video literally talking about this soon. I think Huohuo is definitely overrated. I think Huohuo is definitely overrated. Like, I do not think she offers enough in the current landscape of the game to be used over other options. If we're being just totally honest here. Like, I don't think... What's it called? I don't think that she is bad at all, but she just does not have like the same, what's it called? She does not have the same usability as other characters, I feel. Okay, I figured out how to open it in Google Chrome. This is a bit nicer. Okay, so for any of you who wanted to see a bit more of what the tier list looks like when it's actually fully put together, this is what it looks like. Yeah, this is a 2-cost tier list. Damn, y'all really like YouTube a lot more. My goodness. Yeah, she's very skill point negative is one of the biggest downsides. And it's like, she has teams that can really utilize her specific brand of healing. So, if you're running an Aglaya team, Aglaya ults super often as well as Sunday in that team. So honestly, I think Woho is still really, really good there. Especially since you just need energy. But I don't know. She definitely lags behind a lot more nowadays. I decided to check my business email, and I definitely just got a scam. Very epic. Dangerously close to a release order tier list. We don't need to talk about that. I think Woho's ult should heal now. I think that would actually be fine. Like, keep it as some sort of boost. Like, maybe give it Res Pen. I just hydrated, thank you. Maybe give it Res Pen. Give it the same amount of energy, maybe even more if you really want to get crazy. And then also give it the ability to do a flat heal. I don't even think it's even remotely broken in any way, shape, or form nowadays. Kafka not being in S, but Heislands is in S is very weird. They are dependent upon each other. I mean, okay. So with this, you either get Kafka as the partner for Heislands, or you can do Cyrene as the partner for Heislands. I will say, after the Black Swan buffs, you probably want to do Heislands Kafka Black Swan. But Heisland Cyrene is still perfectly fine. And then you can actually do Ceridra with Heislands. And it's pretty interesting. It works surprisingly well. You know, this is the true power of Yuri, my friends. This is the true power of a lesbian ship. Oh, also, I should mention, everybody, these are all in exact order. So this is the exact numbers that everybody got. Honestly, it might be a little off. I don't think so. I remember Sunday being extremely high. Like, to the point that it kind of threw me off how powerful he was deemed to be. And then Hyacinth was the only perfect score on the entire list. Tribby was very close. I believe Tribby got 1-4. I think Tribby got a single 4 and it threw her off. So Tribby definitely right behind Hyacinth in terms of the power scaling. And again, most people were assuming E1S0 Tribby, which does make sense. E1S0 Tribby is very, very good. At this point, I think it's overrated because nobody can actually make use of it in any meaningful way. Besides, like, the Herda. That will also be part of a video coming up soon, and I imagine I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. But hey, I speak my truth, chat. Looking at some other things here. Interestingly enough, Don Hung and Evernight, I believe, had the exact same score. So, hey, shout out the boys. I'm pretty sure they had the exact same score on the list. And then RMC being rated this high definitely makes sense. All of this is pretty valid. I will say, the fact that Finon is not higher is weird to me. Like, in terms of sheer power level, I do think that Casterus with her premium team is the strongest in the game. Or it's just, like, the most versatile in the game. But Finon should be up here with Casterus and Anexa. Because, like, again, whenever we made this list, we did 2 cost with optimal teammates. So if you throw Finon, Ceridra, probably Cyrene, and then, like, either Don Hung PT, or if you want to do Sustainless, you can do RMC. Like, one of those characters all in a team, he is definitely still one of the best in the game. Yeah, but that's the thing. This isn't about E0S0. This is 2 costs. So E0S1 with Ceridra, like, with his best support still, he is absolutely at the level of the other best DPS in the game. I'm just saying he should be higher realistically. Interestingly enough for Archer actually, this was before Sparkle buffs. Archer still got all the way up here. That is impressive to me. Because now with Sparkle buffs, and again, we're still assuming best teammates, so E0S1 Archer with Sparkle. That is really good. That is really, really good. So, honestly, Archer's probably higher right now in this moment compared to when we did this. Where would Yao Guang be if you did it now? I do not know. I do not know. I mean, okay, all of you in, like, Twitch chat or YouTube chat, from like S, A, B, C, or D, where would you put Yao Guang right now? Where do you think she relatively is? My personal opinion, I would probably say A tier. Because, realistically, she does not have a team right now. She doesn't have a team, and her actual amp is pretty middling. What's below D? Thank you, Coda. You want to know what's below D? There is nothing below D! Alright, anyway. A, low A or B. Then we got A again here. Mid A, B. Yeah, like, that's the biggest problem with Yao Guang right now, is that she just doesn't have a team. The main place you're going to slot her in with is Archer. That's the main place you're going to slot in Yao Guang. And realistically, I think that's fine. Like, I think that is still a really good spot for her to be in. But without having an actual team that she can easily be placed in, I think A and B placings are pretty warranted. I think by the time an Elation team is fully done, so, like, probably not Sparksy. I don't think Sparksy is going to be a strong enough DPS character. But, like, the main push of the planet with Yao Guang, by the time that team is out, I think Yao Guang is going to be, like, an S tier character. I think as a support character, she's going to be, like, a partner tag, but she's going to be absolutely in the same realm as, like, a Cyrene. That's my personal take. I think it just needs some time to cook, and then she'll get way better. Crazy Robin placement. Yeah, so, so Robin has been experiencing some issues as of late. No real team needs her. Very few current meta teams need Robin in any way, shape, or form. I regret Aggie is a new player not making that mistake again. Oh, no. I do love Aglaya, but yeah, the fact that she got basically negative support is really annoying. I'm so bad about that still. Anyway, back to Robin. This is something that I'm going to be talking about in the next tier list review I do, which is coming out like next Thursday? No. It's coming out 2 Tuesdays from now. Yeah, it's coming out 2 Tuesdays from now. Honestly, Robin is kind of just falling further down the tier list, and it's not because she's a bad character by any means. But, like, where is she gonna go? Like, Mono Remembrance definitely doesn't need her. Anexa has better supports. The Herda doesn't need her. Herda wants Tribby. Archer doesn't need her. Finon can use her, but I don't think it's the best fit. And looking at the other strong DPSs on this list, like, the first one who can actually make use of her in a consistent manner is Aglaya. Then after that, maybe Robin, although Saber, but Saber likes Tribby. Fei Xiao isn't very strong anymore at E0S1. Like, Fei Xiao is decent at E0S1, but if I'm picking between E0S1 Fei Xiao versus E0S1 Firefly with the Dahlia, I know what I'm picking. I absolutely know what I'm picking. Sustainless or Ashvale teams. Okay, yeah, so that's another big problem, is that in Star Rare recently, they've kind of been killing off a lot of sustainless possibilities because either A, enemies hit hard as fuck and you just die, or you get overwhelmed by immense amounts of damage. You can still do sustainless in some cases. Like, I cleared the King stage 3 stars by doing sustainless. But if you look at some of the other things that you have to fight, like especially Pure Fiction's been horrible for this lately. Like, they just keep putting in enemies that get to combo attack you or some shit, and it's just, oh my god, so annoying. Who's the best DPS? You do not understand how loaded of a question that is. You don't understand how loaded of a question you've just asked. Okay. So, right now, there are multiple DPS characters who are very, very strong. Why is my drivers updating? Let's cancel that. So, in terms of the strongest DPS characters, we've got, like, Casterus up here, Evernight. I wish I could, like... I don't think y'all can see my mouse. But... So we got Casterus, Evernight. We have Finon down here. We have Anexa here, green hair. And then we have Hysolins, which is DOT. You have a lot of options for DPS characters, but they all kind of excel in A, different scenarios, and B, with different amounts of investment. Right now, Hysolins, Kafka, and insert another character is still pretty decent. And Kafka is currently free if you use the in-game selector on her. So if you just pull Heiselins, you have a decent team right there. And they can kind of use whoever else you need. So you can put like a Ron May or Robin with them, and they'll do decently. Then we have Anexa. Anexa is known for his versatility. He can use almost any character in the game as a support character, and it will do decently. The problem is that Anexa's potential is very much hard capped unless you have Ceridra, and nowadays, unless you get Cyrene. If you do not have those two characters with Anexa, I personally think his potential gets very much hard capped, and a lot of the other characters overtake him. Then we have Finon. Finon is in a similar spot to Anexa. He's very versatile, but at the same time, if you do not have Ceridra, you are going to struggle because Ceridra enhances his damage so much. It's insane. So these two are in a very similar boat. They're both pretty versatile. They both kind of need the same characters overall. So it's really just whichever one you kind of like more. I will say, the biggest difference is Finon's personal damage. Light cones are very important, and Finon's light cone is very important for him. It enhances his strength an insane amount and his speed. Anexa has a light cone in-game that's free to get and is really decent. So that can kind of be the deciding factor. Anexa doesn't need his light cone as much as Finon needs his. But if you get Finon light cone with the whole team, I think it's going to be stronger for you. That's kind of the best way to put it. As a new player, can I make a team with Evernight and RMC work with Ron, May, and Gallagher? Yes. That is actually quite a good team, trust me. I've done that before. I had Evernight completely clear a pure fiction by doing Evernight, Gallagher, RMC, and Tribby. Now, to be fair, Tribby is a pretty big boost over Ron May, but yeah, honestly, that's still perfectly fine. Let me keep looking at this. Okay, so like I said, I think all the break DPSs go up at least one tier. So, I think Firefly... Okay, right now, in this moment with Dahlia, I think Firefly is like a bottom of S tier character. I think Firefly is absolutely bottom of S tier right now. Boothill is... Low-key, I also want to say bottom of S tier, but I feel like people will skin me alive for that, so I'm going to say top of A tier. Because single target is objectively a nerf in this game. And then, where is Rappa? Rappa's bottom of A tier. I'm going to be honest, the AoE shilling hasn't been as good, and Rappa's still going to be helpful in like pure fiction and all that. But I think anything that requires hitting one target, Boothill's going to smash her. And anything else, Firefly just will benefit way more from the Dahlia than Rappa does, and that alone is enough to make a huge difference in performance. Yeah, Rappa really got the worst end of the stick, I'm not gonna lie. I am so parched. Oh my goodness. Ooh, okay. Where's the new character? So like I said, this was made at the start of 3.8, so we don't have Yao Guang data. Hi, Sana. God damn you, Sana. Sana, I played some Overwatch today. I got fucked up, but it was pretty funny. Also, I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm still of the opinion that Mizuki is kinda ass. I feel like Mizuki is very mediocre. If they buff a break character in 4.x, I want it to be Fugue. I think that'd be a fine choice. The problem is she does everything she should do, so it doesn't really make a huge difference. If they're gonna buff anything about Fugue, make her basic attack give more energy, so it's less advantageous to just skill every single time. That's probably the biggest problem with Fugue, is that her basic attack really doesn't contribute anything. And then, if you just skill, you get more energy for her very powerful ultimate. So, not gonna lie, that basic attack really needs some help. Everything else about Fugue is pretty good, which is why they're not gonna buff her. But it'd be nice. I wouldn't mind it at all. Oh! Actually, you know what we should do after this, chat? I want to make a tier list of who I think needs to be Nova Flared the most. I want to make it into like a full video, so we're definitely going to be doing that. I think that's going to be really fun. The Jingliu placement on the... Oh my god, don't even get me started on this. Look at it! Like, okay, so let's look at Blade. Blade got to the 3.0 club. Kafka got to 4.0. Silverwolf got to high 3.0. Jingliu is in middle of 2.5. That's so bad! That's so bad. Also, Jess, are you new? I don't recognize your name. Like, do you need more help with the game? Because if so, feel free to ask around in the server. We'll be happy to help you. Although, I'm going to be honest, most of the people in there are going to hear need help and immediately throw every piece of meta knowledge at you all at once. So I would say be careful. Oh, God. Who can I even trust to... Who do I trust to not overwhelm a new person? Oh, God. Anarchy's nice. Anarchy's a good person. Anarchy won't overwhelm anybody, I hope. With a name like Anarchy, too. That's funny. What the fuck? I'm nice. Sana, you're just a little suspect sometimes. You remember that time you said that slur? No, no. No. I was looking up knowledge of HSR and found your stream. Oh, God bless your soul. You're not used to us yet. I'm so sorry. Okay, so that makes perfect sense then. That being what? Oh God! That being said, I'm glad Akron is still high up, so if she gets a Nova Flare, I'd be happy. That'd be nice. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense, Jess. Well, in that case, like, yeah, definitely. If you need any help, feel free to ask in the server. And it's like, usually I try and help people, but after a while, everybody kind of just shuts me down. So that's just, I'm just telling you that right now. It gets a little... I try and help every new person who comes in. It's like, it's just a fun thing for me to do, and I like interacting with my community a lot, so I'm trying to make sure I always can help people, if at all possible. Then, like, a few other people who are usually pretty nice and pretty helpful. If you see a person named Cookie, if you see a person named Cheesecake, if you see a person named Pancake, if somebody has the name of a food, they're a good person, trust me. If somebody has the name of a food, they're pretty trustworthy. And they're pretty helpful. That's a crazy correlation, I'm realizing. Just all the food people. Oh my god. But yeah, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask and we'll do our best to help you out. All the cakes, got it. Yes, all of the cakes are the helpful ones, trust. I have 16k. Should I pull Evernight or wait for Sparksy? Do you have Yao Guang? Do you have Castoris? Do you have Cyrene? What am I looking at here? I need some more info to help out. In the meantime, I'm going to keep talking about the tier list. Black Swan after buffs. Low-key, Black Swan after buffs, probably at least a 4.0. I don't think that's a crazy jump. I think Black Swan is doing a lot better as a generalist. Is she a great option in most places? No. Can she work? Absolutely. I think that Black Swan kind of fits in really well with a lot of the other debuffers now, like, you know, like a Pela, a Silver Wolf, all of them. I think Black Swan is pretty solid after her buffs. I really like what she brings. And then she's even better for DOT now. So, absolutely a 4.0 ranking is justified, I feel. No. This wasn't accounting for Black Swan's buff. That's why I'm talking about it. I think Black Swan's way higher now. Like, she's a lot better. Okay. So, I'm still looking at this one. It's funny that March 7th Hunt and Moz have ended up directly next to each other. Because they're both just Topaz replacements, and Topaz is down here. It's funny that these two have ended up exactly in the same spot. Because, personally, I really like March 7th Hunt. With that in mind, Moz is a character that is absolutely beloved by Zero Cyclers and speedrun communities. They love Moz, and he is very good. He is very powerful in his optimal form with optimal teams. The biggest advantage of March 7th Hunt now is honestly the fact that March 7th Hunt is a break character. Running March 7th Hunt with the Dahlia is basically as good as Boot Hill nowadays. And that's horrifying, because Boot Hill should be much better. And, to be fair, Boot Hill can definitely still outperform her in some scenarios. But the fact that March 7th Hunt can actually make it close is terrifying. That's the biggest thing, is that March 7th Hunt can actually make a close competition if you build her super well as a break unit. Actually, Cookie, Rory did some testing the other day. It's the person named Rory Goko on YouTube. They have like 38,000 and they're a clear YouTuber. They're the person who I watched the video of to get the 3-star on Aquila. Very, very intelligent player. It's my first week. My team, Archer, not free. Yao Guang, Sparkle, DHPT. I mean, yeah, it's a good team. I got no complaints. Rory the GOAT. Yeah, Rory is really fucking good at this game, by the way. I think Rory just Rory just 3-starred the King with Archer, Sparkle, some other character, and then DHPT, I think. Or no, it was RMC. I think Rory just did us a stainless clear with everybody at like E0, S1 or something like that. Sparkle may have been at E1. Honestly, really impressive. That's my team too. Yeah, it's a good team, trust me. It's a Yao Guang, Archer, Sparkle, DHPT. Incredible team. 12 days into my new account, I have triple DOT team. Should I wait for Elation for my second team or try to gather remembrance units? Okay. That's a hard one. You have a good first team. I would say start saving up. Start saving up for probably an Elation team. Like, skip Ashvale next, and then start saving up for an Elation team. I don't know, it's kind of just it's a hard spot to be in. Would Sparksy be a good replacement for Archer? So, Sparksy, Yao Guang, Sparkle, DHPT? I'm not gonna lie, that's literally Sparksy's optimal team. So yeah, if you want to replace Archer with Sparksy, go for it. That is a really good team. That'll probably be Sparksy's best out the gate. Okay, anyway, let me finish looking at this over here. The rest of this kind of makes sense. I will say it is so sad that Saber is all the way down here. Like, Saber being down here is so depressing. Saber is worse than Mighty for most people. Aglaya is better than Saber. The Herda is better than Saber. I think there's a little bit of bias for the Herda. If you do the Herda E0S1 with Saber E0S1, I feel like it's probably comparable in optimal teams. But man, this sucks. This is rough, man. I think everything else is pretty in order here. There's one thing I want to talk about. Castris at the top here. People do not know what to be mad at with Mono Remembrance. They're just mad at it because you're not going to seriously look me in the eye and tell me that Castris is the better character than Evernight. You are not going to tell me that Castris is better than Evernight. Evernight is the real culprit of Mono Remembrance. And we as a community need to understand that. Evernight is the villain of Mono Remembrance. Castris was the start. Castris is nowhere near the best character in that team. She gets the best Cyrene buff in Mono Remembrance, and that is literally it. That is it. She's really good in the Cyrene scenario. If you put Evernight, RMC, Cyrene, Hyacinth on a team, that is good. And that if you invest into Evernight over Castris, investing into Evernight will actually catapult her past E2 Castris. It is literally a night and day difference with E2 Evernight compared to E2 Castris. Evernight is absolutely the character of Mono Remembrance, right behind Hyacinth. Hyacinth is the devil. I apologize, Sana. Hyacinth is the devil. Hyacinth is so strong. She's insane. There's nothing else to say. My Hyacinth does more damage than my Evernight. Yeah, that doesn't even surprise me anymore. Although your Evernight might just be built poorly, because, yeah, Evernight's still a demon, though. I love Cyrene. As you should. I like Cyrene a lot. She's really fun. I hope that they incorporate her archetype into future characters, because I think her design is super, super cool and super fun. Okay. So, that is the end of the community tier list for 2 cost. So now, we're not done yet, chat! Be honest, are you loving 4.0 and where the game is heading? I have not finished the 4.0 story yet. As of right now, I'm curious as to where the story is headed. I think the story is still fine. The game balancing currently is... I think it could be worse. I absolutely think the game balancing could be worse so far. The problem is that Elation doesn't exist in its complete form yet, so they can't hyper shill it yet. Whenever we get to the point where Elation can be hyper shilled, come back and talk to me, and then we'll see how it feels. Although, admittedly, I am going to make a video about it the moment it is possible. I'm not going to lie. Is Archer better at E0 or get between S... What the English? What the fuck? Hold on. Is Archer better at E0 or S1? Oh. E1. Oh my god, E1. E1 is so good. You just get an extra shot every rotation, basically, with Sparkle. Sparkle's free now, so now there's no excuse. Like, you just get an extra shot every rotation. It's so good. It is so nice. Alright. So, I am now going to open up the other tier list. Open with Google Chrome. Okay. So, I would like to say, before everybody starts blowing up the chat, there was some issues with the investment tier list. There were some issues. First of all, multiple people did just straight up not rank 4 stars, and people who did rank 4 stars, they actively ranked them lower than they did on the previous list. And it was a lot of effort to try and account for that. So I gave up after a while. So keep that in mind. Also, there were not as many investment tier lists since most people did not feel confident enough in their knowledge to really comment on the investment. Which, again, that is to be expected, admittedly. I have Sparkle. Is Sparksy worth pulling? Do I have to pull for Yao Guang? Okay. Truth be told, I think Sparksy is going to be not as good without Yao Guang. But Yao Guang is also kind of homeless without Sparksy. If you have Archer, I would say just use Archer and just save. You can do Sparkle, Sparksy, Tribby, or Cypher, or technically Robin. And then, like, you're free Danheng PT, and that's a fine team. But yeah, one without the other is definitely going to be weaker. Yao Guang can slot into Archer team. Sparksy would slot in with Sparkle. It's kind of just whichever you prefer. Genuinely, I would say at this point, if you have a character to make use of Sparkle, I would say just wait until you can save more pulls. Because then, probably in like 4.4, they're probably both going to rerun and you can swoop them up and grab them at the same time. Yeah, Elation just doesn't exist in a complete form yet, if we're just being honest. It just straight up doesn't exist fully yet. I don't have Archer, I'm a new player. Oh, no. In that case... In that case, I would say go for Sparksy, I guess, since you have a good support for her in Sparkle. And then you could do RMC as your other support character, and it would probably work. I'd say that is probably your best bet. Is the investment tier list the unit itself's Eidolons or the archetype team? The team. So basically, if we look at like... So for the supports are being rated at like E2. So like an E2 S1 Sunday, an E2 S1 Tribby, all that good stuff. And for a character like Archer, it's being assumed that he's getting like investment on his team. So either E2, so it's either E2S1 Archer, or it's like E0S1 Archer, E2S1 Sparkle, fucking E1S1 Tribby, all that good shit. I think the difference we listed was, I think it was 2 cost initially per character, and then the team was listed at 8 cost, I think. I think that's what the difference was. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a while. Oh, my back hurts. Okay. So now looking at the investment tier list, it's a little messy. Just a little bit. So at the top, we have the usual suspects, Hyacinth, Castris, Evernight. Finon has ended up where I think he should be. With E2S1, he is definitely one of the best DPS in the entire game, and it's not close. E2S1 Cyrene, incredible support, and it is what makes her actually usable with many other characters instead of just the Chrysosairs. So, pretty helpful. E1 Tribby is already drugs. Now imagine you get E2 Tribby. Everything is going to die. Everything will, in fact, die. E1 Hysolins is already incredible. So now you're getting Light Cone and E2. And also, or hypothetically, you're getting E1 and then you're also getting E1 Black Swan. E1 Black Swan is also like a 20% damage increase for DOT. It's super, super nice. So this makes sense. E2 S1 Danhung PT is unbelievably good. And as the second best sustain in the game, it is really just a way to make him even more versatile and even more useful. To the point where, again, it's like if you're not running an HP scaling team, you probably should be using him regardless. Although Hyacinth E2 S1 is a 30% speed boost, so fuck me, I guess. It's pretty good. Pretty helpful overall. Archer, that's his whole team setup. E2 S1 Sunday is really not that good. I'm not gonna lie. But Sunday is just such a good character already. So, RMC's just really good character. Okay. So this is another one of the biggest core issues with Anexa and why I think he has a slightly lower ceiling than other characters. Anexa's Eidolons are mid. Anexa's Eidolons are genuinely so mediocre. Like, his Eidolons really don't do much if we're being... Like, if we're really comparing here, his Eidolons are not that good. They're not bad. For DPS Eidolons, they're not bad. That's not... Like, I'm not saying they're Jingyuan or Argenti level. They are good Eidolons. But with Anexa specifically, his E1 is pretty solid. I would say his E1 is still worth it. After the E1, I would say just invest in his teammates solely. And even then, if we're talking about like E1 Ceridra or E2 Cyrene, you should be getting those before E1 Anexa. E1 Anexa is nowhere near as good as E2 Cyrene, E1 Ceridra for his own team. So I just really want to emphasize that. Anexa ceiling with his own Eidolons, pretty mid. Anexa ceiling with team Eidolons, much better. Very, very good. I imagine Aglaya has ended up much higher here because at E2, Aglaya gets 42% defense shred, and E1 is one of the best quality of life Eidolons in the entire game. So when you look at it like that, It makes a lot of sense. Saridra, E1 is really, really good. I don't remember what E2 does off the top of my head, but it's probably pretty good. E1 Robin, incredible. E2 Robin, also really, really good, because I believe it's a 16% speed boost, so like that a lot. If you have an E2 Robin, it's probably still worth using her in quite a few teams compared to normal Robin nowadays. Also, in this scenario, you would be getting Robin Light Cone as well, which is super powerful, so I like that a lot. E2S1 Dahlia. Yeah, it's pretty good. E1, I would say, is really nice for break teams, and then E2 just feels like E2, man, that's just icing on a cake. If you can get E2 Dahlia alongside the rest of your fully optimized break team, it's just a bunch of additional value. Like, there's really nothing to complain about at that point. It does help with her clearing ads for a next. E2 Saridra's personal damage. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So E1 Saridra is the value here. Okay, yeah. So looking around, I will say, now with Sparkle buffs, E2 Sparkle is in the top tier without a single shadow of a doubt. It's so good. So good. E2 Fugue. Very, very powerful. Has always been very powerful. With Break's Resurgence, probably an S tier. Firefly, I do think bottom of S tier, especially if we're getting E2 S1 Firefly. So you get no skill points used, and you get an extra turn on breaking. That's absolutely goated with Dahlia and Fugue. I like that a lot, so Firefly should be up here. Herta E2. Has this just fallen off this much? Like, is Herta E2 just not what it used to be? Because Herta E1 E2 is one of the best Eidolon power boosts in the game, in my opinion. Like, it has always been super, super impactful. So to see Herta, like, not even get into the top tier with her E2S1, kinda crazy. Like, especially if you're getting a scenario where you're getting, like, an E1 Tribby. Like, what? What are we doing here? E2 Sparkle is OOP. It's better than E6 Sunday in some situations. To be fair, Sparkle is just better than Sunday in basically everything that's not a summon-specific character. Which, to be fair, that's my fucking nightmare. But hey, that's life, I guess. Looking around a bit further, Saber jumps up a nice little bit with her E2. Her E1 and E2 are pretty good. I like her E1 way more. E2 is defense shred, but it's like, I think it's like 28%, so it's not bad. Just think E1 is more impactful. It's a bunch of extra ult damage. Mighty, I'm not gonna lie, if you're getting any sort of investment for Mighty, invest in Cyrene to make her E2, and invest in Saridra to make her E1. That's what I would say is the best choice. Where can I submit a tier list? I have bad news. This data was compiled over a month ago. I am so sorry. I'm not gonna lie, the rest of this list is pretty accurate. E1 Black Swan should be in the higher tier now because of buffs. Kafka is right where she should be, honestly. E2, E1 Kafka really is not that impactful. And yeah, the rest of this makes sense, unfortunately. It's crazy that ratio is worse than Mini Herta. Like, dog, that's a real statistic that I saw. This is a real statistic that I saw. Mini Herta is higher than Ratio. What world am I living in? I'm just genuinely shocked. Yeah, that's a bit rough. Honestly, the rest of this makes sense. Acheron Eidolons really are not that good. We kind of got gaslit insanely. E2 Silverwolf, I'm glad to see getting the respect it deserves. E2 Silverwolf, incredible. Absolutely insane. Rappa, I think Rappa should be higher. E1, E2 is a really nice combo for her, and then with Light Cone, you have a lot of benefit there. I'm not sure how much more of a... Well, actually, with Dahlia, never mind. E2 Rappa with Dahlia, definitely at least 4.0. Probably a 4.5, but I'm going to say 4.0 to be conservative. Acheron Eidolons are so bad. Got E6, trust me. Oh, yeah, don't worry, I know. I know Acheron Eidolons suck. Yeah, the rest of this is adding up. And yeah, that kind of wraps up the tier lists. Overall, I think these were incredibly accurate to what my own opinion would be. Like, these both represent pretty well what I feel should be the correct tier list for Star Rail right now. Like, I think most of the characters are accurately placed. I think there are a few overrated, underrated, but for the most part, some of the bigger overrated or underrated ones got really balanced out by general opinion. And it's funny, because if you go and look at Pridwin right now, most of this is still pretty similar. Obviously, this tier list is slightly outdated because it was done with 3.8 data. So it's definitely a little behind. But overall, a lot of this matches pretty well with what I would see on Pridwin. And that's just kind of the power of when you release to the general public and you have a lot of people all inputting their opinions. A lot of things just end up looking super similar. That is just how it ends up happening, so the tier list that it's like we really shit on, whenever we make our own, it ends up looking pretty damn similar, and that really says a lot now, doesn't it? The human psyche is an interesting one, folks. The human psyche is very interesting. Alright, well, that about wraps up this section, so we're gonna close this down. Boop, boop. And now, I am going to head over here. Oop. So as you can see, I was filling out the tier list the other day. Oh, hey, Ashvale's on here. Alright. Real quick, I'm going to cut the recording I was doing. I'm going to start a new one. Okay. Because, low-key chat, I want to make this a video. I don't know how long this is going to take, because I don't want to go for too much longer. But I would like to finish this. So, I will see if I can speed this up a little bit. Give me 1 second. Okay. Alright. So, chat. We are going to quickly do a list of who I think needs to be Nova Flared the most out of the characters remaining. And I'm going to kind of make this distinction early on. I think standard banners and 4 stars should be Nova Flared. I do not think it's going to happen. I think standard banners have a chance. 4 stars, 4 stars have no chance of being Nova Flared, in my opinion, and that really sucks. I hate that. I really, really hate that, because I think a lot of 4 stars in this game could do amazing things with some form of substantial changes, and they'd be some of the more fun characters in the game to utilize, but I just don't think it's going to happen, admittedly. So, I just want to clarify that. You're not going to see 4 stars on this list. I'm going to exclude the standard banner 5 stars for the exact purpose and for the exact reason of we have not seen one get Nova Flared yet, so we do not know that it is possible. 4 stars are in the same boat, but also I just know that they won't be Nova Flared because they hate us, so yeah, we're just going to completely ignore them. Alright. So right down here, I'm going to put that these characters have already been Nova Flared, just to get a little bit of distinction going. The characters who have been Nova Flared so far. I almost put Jing Yuan up there. That's not accurate. I wish it was. Black Swan, Sparkle. Who is the last one that I'm not thinking of? Did I grab Jing Liu? Where's Silverwolf? Silverwolf. Okay. So now I'm going to put a bunch of the 5 stars in who are... Should I include all 5 stars and should I just make a list where it's like they just don't need the Nova Flare? Like, should we do the cutoff as like 3.0? I think I want to do the cutoff as 3.0. I think that's probably good. Robin, Acheron, Avon, Boot Hill, Firefly, Jade, Jiao Cho, Fei Xiao, Sunday, Fugue, Yunli, Ling Sha, Rappa. I think that's it, right? Fushuan. Ho Topaz. Am I missing anybody? I don't think I am. Okay. So, what we're going to do is that S tier is going to be... I need it. It's that SpongeBob meme, you know what I'm saying? Surely at least one of the viewers is the same generation as me. I guess would be nice is fine without... No. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think we're gonna use the no tier, but this is really just to keep track of things. Did I not put Ron May? I did not, thank you. Okay. So, we're gonna start in order here, so we're gonna start with Sela. Brother. Sela is going straight to S tier. This character needs a Nova Flare. She needs divine intervention to fix this goddamn kit. Sela is just... Oh my god. The character is weak. She is, like... She is getting any form of clear through sheer masochism of players who want to prove something. And I don't know what they're trying to prove. This character is not good. And if you put anywhere near the same amount of effort that you put into Sela into a normal character, you would have infinitely more success. Even into another hunt unit. If you put the same amount of success that you have with Seela and the same amount of effort into Fei Xiao or Boot Hill, they are doing so much better than her, it's not even funny. Like, oh my god. Okay, I got it out of my system. Yeah, Seela is just a fundamentally weak character. She's flawed. The resurgence requiring a kill is just not really good design nowadays, with every mob having more HP. It just doesn't work. It really just doesn't work. The fact she's gone this long without a buff when she is this built for the early game meta is insane that she's made it this far without anything. So yeah, Seela, top of I need it. Jing Yuan. The Sunday buff has worn off. He is also a flawed character. He has his best support for him, at least. Sunday is an amazing support for him and works amazingly. The problem is that Jing Yuan has horrible Eidolons, horrible multipliers. He has no other really key support for him besides Sunday. And even then, if you're putting Sunday with either Aglaya or Jing Yuan, you're going to put him with Aglaya, because Aglaya is just, like, stronger and is as dependent on Sunday as Jing Yuan is. Also, the stat count really pisses me off. It should be a lot easier to hit 10 every single time. I'm not going to lie. Like, Jing Yuan just needs more everything. His personal damage is so bad. All of it is linked entirely to the Lightning Lord. And I understand that that's the point of the character. Why is Jing Yuan skilling and doing like 50k? And then the Lightning Lord is doing 300k. That's good. That is not enough. That is just straight up not enough when Casterus can sneeze and get 1 million. It is not enough in any way, shape, or form. He needs some of those buffs that they did in Currency Wars. I would love it if Lightning Lord got to act of his own volition and you got like half of the stacks back. So it encourages you to go. You go with Lightning Lord. Lightning Lord goes on its own with like a few less stacks. And then you go again with Lightning Lord and get full stacks. That is just more damage and more benefit. If there's a way to speed tune that and build that into his kit, I think that's such a huge positive. I think that's incredible. So yeah, we really need to buff Jing Yuan. Don't just put another band-aid on it by giving him another support as well. Actually buff him. He needs actual buffs. Please. You cannot just keep adding a new character into the game that's relatively good for him and have that be the solution. It's not a solution. Okay. Dan Heng IL. Chat, every single character is about to be an I need it. Because this dude is so bad. He is genuinely so bad. Oh my god. Look, I'm not gonna lie, like, he needs to be able to get his ultimate more. He needs to be able to get his ultimate more efficiently. One of his major traces is going to be really easy to swap out. I believe it just does like more damage to imaginary weak enemies. Swap that out to restore more energy for him. Give him a way to get more free SP, because that's what he wants. And it lets him cast his enhanced basic more often. So more ultimates, more free SP. Obviously, multiplier increase. The multiplier increase is huge. He just, even with all that, he wouldn't do enough damage. And I'm going to be honest, if we really want to get crazy, imagine if we turn Dan Heng IL into a summon character. Imagine if we turn Dan Hung IL into a summon character. He gets to go with Sunday. The dragon can act independently, but he still can get an enhanced basic attack. And then if he wants to, that can, like, imagine if that fast forwards the dragon. Or it increases the damage of the dragon moving independently. That's kind of sick, I'm not gonna lie. It takes a bit of what he is in Dan Hung PT and incorporates it into Dan Hung IL. And I think overall it creates like a super, super fun design. Anyway. Double dragons with DHPT. That'd be so cool! Like, I know that one's not going to happen. That's a really unnecessary change, but I think it'd be Aura, so that's why I'm saying it. Luocha. So here's the thing, is that Luocha will always be okay because he just heals a fair bit, and he heals without the need of SP for the most part. Luocha's always going to be okay. I would like it if he got a buff, because he just doesn't offer anything compared to the newer sustains of Dan Hung PT Hyacinth. I wish I had more to say about him, but really that's about it. He's just a very boring character without much to him. He does his job, and he will always do that job. It'd be nice if he did more, though. That's the point I'm getting at. Dr. Ratio. I'm going to be totally honest. I actually think he's above Jing Yuan and Dan Hung IL. I think he's completely worthless. Just straight up, I think he's completely worthless. Like, Jing Yuan at least has Sunday, and that catapults his power all on his own. Ratio is actually a pointless character in today's game. I would actually rather use Shui over him because I can just do Dahlia, and that will be more beneficial. Ratio is just weak. He has nothing going for him. He doesn't have a lot of support because a lot of debuff characters are better in other places. They don't fulfill his needs as much as they need to. And at the end of the day, Fei Xiao exists, so why would you not just pick Fei Xiao? I love Dr. Ratio players being like, well, Dr. Ratio actually has a pretty high skill cap, or like, you know, well, don't just say use Fei Xiao, like, you know, he's his own character. He's weak, and he is just a worse option. He is bad. Accept it. Please accept it, Dr. Ratio players. He's not good. Fei Xiao is better than him in every single way. Archer is better than him in every single way. There's just no world where Ratio doesn't need buffs. Like, I don't know. I would say increase all of his multipliers like usual. I think, honestly, giving him additional free follow-ups for just, like, basic attacking and everything, honestly, I think that'd be fine. I wouldn't mind that. And then probably give him like a further debuff, or give him more rewards for debuffing. Like, let's be honest, Anexa has a built-in, like, what? 140 or 120% crit damage built into his kit? Why are we giving Ratio, like, 60 crit damage? Give him 150 for all I care. Build it into his kit. Make that one trace that gives him crit rate, crit damage. Buff it up to high hell. Give him an extra follow-up attack. Improve the numbers. I really don't think it is, like, that much to ask for when Castris and Finon exist. Next up, Argenti. I think I'm going to put it right there. God damn it, sure. Okay. So, Argenti Argenti technically has a niche with the Herda. The problem is that he does not even fulfill the purpose of being a DPS character in the pure fiction game mode that is all about AoE. That is not good. He has been reduced to nothing but an energy slave, and he's not even the best. Like, no, he's good for it. Let me rephrase. He's good for it. But there are also other competitive options. So what does he really offer? That's the problem. Genuinely, you can either turn him into the ultimate sub DPS for the Herda and make him like a fine character for other situations, or you completely rework him to be the main DPS that he's supposed to be, and you give him much better multipliers, you fix his goddamn Eidolons, you improve the strength of his enhanced ultimate so there's more reward to go for it, and yeah. I think changing a few of those major traces to substantially buff him, give him more crit damage, more res pen, maybe give him like a % of his energy back so that he has like a faster time to build his ultimate and make him really become that ultimate damage DPS character. I think that'd be a lot better for him. The way he is right now, he is just an energy slave. He offers nothing else. There's no point to have him when you can just do like Serval or Herda and have similar results. That sucks. Okay. Robin. Okay, I'm gonna knock out the fine without characters, or the no characters real quick. Robin. She's fine without. Like, she might be able to benefit from a Nova Flare. I don't think she's actually that bad. She's still pretty decent, and the biggest thing is that most characters just haven't needed her recently. If we give characters that kind of need the attack boost and the overall damage boost again, Robin's fine, so I don't think it's necessary. Aventurine. I mean, he's fine without. He's still a good sustain. It's just DHPT mogs him. That's really about it. He's a perfectly fine character. He still has Hule, who he excels on. He's passable in many other places. Like, don't get it twisted. He still can do the job of a sustain perfectly fine, and far better than any of the 1.x sustains. It's literally just the fact that it's like, he's just weaker now. But I don't think he's weak enough to really warrant needing a Nova Flare. Boot Hill. Absolutely God, no. Firefly. Absolutely God, no. Fugue. No. Okay, I think that Sunday's a no. Sunday does not need a Nova Flare, dog. Sunday does not need a Nova Flare. Alright. And I don't think Rappa needs a Nova Flare. Okay, I'm gonna put Rappa in is fine without, because both the other break characters are way better than her to the point where she falls behind substantially. So I just don't think she has much merit like in the game right now. So changing it so that she excels even more in AoE, or she can do slightly more single target, I think that'd be nice. The easiest way to always do that is to do the trace writing where it says, if there are 2 or less enemies on the field, increase the strength of this attack by like 80% of its damage. If they do it like that, they could slap that onto Rappa, and I feel like it'd be enough to warrant like her being slightly better in the overall game, and would actually give her some usefulness in the other modes, while also still being good in pure fiction. I'm talking a lot. I need more water, but I'm not gonna go get it. I don't want to talk about Acheron. Let's knock out the other 1.x characters, actually. I'm gonna save Topaz for a little bit. Fushuan. I want to talk more about Fushuan, but I'm gonna be completely real. It's the exact same reasons as Luocha. Other sustains just do the job better. She's a lot weaker nowadays. She needs something more substantial than a crit rate buff. Give her an enhanced basic attack that can actually do damage based on, like, HP. Give her 100% crit rate if you want. Make the ultimate debuff. And give her more survivability. There we go. Ho ho. Would be nice. I think in order... Is this an exact order? I think this is an exact order. Yeah. With Ho-Ho specifically, she's fine. She has a niche. The problem is the niche is kind of dying a little bit. Truly, I think she needs better healing. She needs more automatic healing, more divine provision, or stronger divine provision. Give her an enhancement to her ult. And maybe give her, instead of attack percent, res pen boost. I think that'd be pretty good. And yeah. Isn't Ho-Ho best in slot for Sparksy? Did I fucking stutter? I still think she needs to be buffed. I really do not think she's that good, I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's always so hard. I think Ho-Ho is a good character. But also, she needs more. She needs more. Because right now, she is a glorified support. She's not actually a great healer. She is a glorified support. That's my problem. She needs to do more. Okay. Ron May. Actually, I'm going to move Robin back here. I'm going to be honest, Ron May's still really good. She doesn't have as much usefulness nowadays, and then she's kind of gotten kicked out of break teams, but overall, she's still strong. She gives good buffs. She gives weakness break efficiency, which can make any character better in Apocalyptic Shadow. She's still a great character. She's just a bit weaker nowadays. But I don't think that completely invalidates her either, like some of the other characters on this list, so overall, she can go a bit longer without it. I don't think it's really desperately needed right now. Topaz and Numby. She literally has gotten replaced by March 7th Hunt, by Moz, by Tribby, by Cypher, and she is about to be replaced by Ashvale. She needs help. If I could pick anything personally, I would rehaul Topaz. Because we have a character who excels with summons now, I would make her a main DPS. Make Topaz a main DPS so that she can run with the sub DPS characters instead of being a sub DPS that is replaceable by every other option in the game. Either that, or you have to buff every single number in that kit. Build her E2 into her kit so she gets even more energy regen, and especially energy regen when Numby attacks. Increase the damage from the follow-ups of your other teammates, and make it so that she has more incentive to do, like, some sort of personal damage. Or just turn her into a summon DPS. I do not care. Just please do something for this character. She needs it. Alright, so we got Jade, Jiao Cho, Fei Xiao, Yun Li, Ling Sha, and Acheron left. I'm gonna be honest, I actually think Jade's fine. She's niche. I would say I think she should be higher up on the list here. I think she would need one more than most of these other characters, but I think she's okay. She's just not super strong, and that's kind of alright. I think it'd be nice if she could have one, but at the same time, I think she's fine without one because she is built as a sub DPS, and she has that slot alongside the Herda if you want her to. So, hey, there you go. Jiao Cho. I want to put him here. In reality, I will put him here. Jiao Cho is not an awful character. The problem is that in good teams that could utilize him, Pela Silverwolf is a better combo. Silverwolf Cypher is a better combo. Pela Cypher is a better combo. Tribby gets included as a better combo. He doesn't offer enough. His numbers are just so much worse than every other amplifier nowadays. He doesn't have enough debuff potential to really be good alongside some of the stronger characters in the game. And yeah, he just doesn't do enough. He just straight up doesn't do enough. They need to make his numbers in line with all of the other amplifiers. And I know people always are talking about, well, make him a healer again. I think that's a gimmick. Genuinely, I think that's a gimmick unless you make him a full-on sustain. Like, swap him entirely from the Nihility path to the Abundance path. Otherwise, I do not think making him do a little bit of healing is really substantial in any way, shape, or form. Honestly, I don't know what they do to swap him at this point, or to fix him at this point, besides just increase all the numbers as high as you can. But yeah, that's really the best I got. Fei Xiao. She's kind of fine without it, but I think Hunt just needs more consistent strength and updates. Hunt, as a single target path, is genuinely at such a big disadvantage in this game. They need higher numbers always to keep up. They need higher numbers, better multipliers. They need to be ridiculously overtuned to make up for the disadvantage they get just by being single target and a lot of the content in this game not being suited to that. So, it would genuinely be nice to see Fei Xiao buffed. Her entire kit works super well. There's not really much about her kit that needs to be changed in any way. Really, you just need to buff the multipliers. Buff the multipliers. Maybe give her even more charges from some specific sources. Increase her self buffs. And maybe give her her own debuff. Just to, you know, factor in a bit more damage. And yeah. She doesn't really... Again, she doesn't super need it, but I think it's a bit beyond the point of would be nice. And it's funny to put Jade and is fine without over Fei Xiao, but Jade has more of a place as a sub DPS than Fei Xiao currently has as a main DPS, in my opinion. It's very specific, but that's kind of how I see it. Hi, Mac. Thank you for the raid. How do I do this shit again? Did I do it? I did it! Yippee! Spider-Man. add Spider-Man to the ranking. I literally can't. Guys, who's the closest to Spider-Man? Who's the closest thing we have to Spider-Man in HSR? Coward. I don't get a choice! Honestly, I don't know who's the most Spider-Man. Who's really red? Spider-Man. Perfection. Alright, anyway. Alright. We're almost done here, thankfully. Fine on for the suffering. Spider-Man does suffer a lot. That's honestly a good point. Guys, can we do the suffering tier list next week? Alright, anyway. So, Yoon Lee! Jesus Christ almighty. So, Yoon Lee, I'm gonna be honest, I think every counter character in HSR is bad besides Finon's random ability because it actually action advances targets, which is so helpful. So, I'm putting Yoon Lee in would be nice. And I'm actually gonna put her over Fei Xiao. I think counter characters are just bad. I think they're just horrible. I don't think they're made well. I think they're really cool, and I think Yoon Lee is the closest thing to being a really good counter character. For the love of God, make the ability stronger. Make her have the ability to action advance enemies. Give some sort of incentive to being fast or using an action advancer. And give more damage and reward for it. Because relying on enemies to hit you is already not a sound strategy. So yeah. That's my rant about counter characters. They just don't work very well. And again, the reason Finon works very well is because he has other moves to take advantage of his counter. Yoon Lee doesn't have that. What if we did a counter where with the ults, like, imagine if you got rewarded for every time you get hit, and then on Yoon Lee's turn, she gets a damage boost. She gets a damage boost for the rest of the turn. Like, something like that could be nice. We just need something to enhance the power of her character, because it just does not do enough. Alright, Ling Sha. Dog, I'm more confused about this than Acheron. I don't know what to do with Ling Sha. She doesn't even run with the archetype she's made for anymore. She gets used more as a main DPS. She doesn't work with any other team in the game. She is just weird. I don't know. Genuine, you know what? Whenever I post this video, if you have ideas for Ling Sha, leave them in the comments. I don't know what to do about Ling Sha. I don't know. I don't even think it's a Nova Flare angle. I think this is a complete rework angle. I don't understand. Because technically she's fine. But she's so weird in her existence in this game. Alright. Last but not least, Acheron. Her Eidolons actually suck. Her E2 is counterintuitive to the point that it does not provide true value because you are losing the core source of your damage and your stacks, which is another Nihility character. Her personal damage is falling off a little bit. Investing into her teammates is the best way to actually keep her doing anything substantial. And even then, it's still not as good as you want it to be. Because all of your ability is limited, really, to how fast your teammates can get you those stacks. That's unfortunate. And she can get the stacks herself by using her skill, her basic attack, but then you're going to be losing out on damage. Genuinely, some things we could do here. Give Acheron an action advance. That sounds crazy, but like giving her like a 25, maybe not 25. Maybe like a 15-20% speed boost out of ult. That might be good. Giving her more stacks on specific hits. Letting her stack refund be higher instead of it being capped at 3 when you already have ult. You know what I mean? There's got to be something here that we can do to make her benefit more off of what she benefits off of. Because right now, it's just not enough. It is just straight up not enough. I think, yeah, that's about all I can say about Acheron. Damn. All right. And there we go. That about wraps up the tier list of who I think needs to be Nova Flared the most. If you disagree with me in the comments, I'm not going to read it. All right. I didn't really... Again, this is going to be a YouTube video, and I didn't really do some of my usual YouTube stuff. Make sure to subscribe, haha, smile. All right, anyway. What's my outro? I don't remember what my outro is. It's, Give me a second. Oh, yeah. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. So, I got plenty more good videos coming out soon. So, I will see you guys then. Bye-bye. And now we stop recording, chat. All right. There we go. Chat, I'm tired. I've talked a lot. I have talked a lot. I think we're going to call it for today. I think it's about time to call it. All right. Well, I really hope you guys enjoyed this today. I see Twitch viewership went up a little bit, but damn, yeah, the YouTube stream was kind of popping today. I see I gotta... I'll try and keep multi-streaming in the future. It annoys me, but I'll try and keep doing it. It definitely works out pretty well. So, new fave yapper. Let's go! Yes! Anyway, again, if you would like any help, feel free to ask in the Discord, and we will do our best to assist you, I promise. Alright, well, thank you everybody for showing up today. Next stream will be tomorrow, like usual. That's going to be Twitch exclusive, just playing through some Currency Wars or Divergent Universe. I don't remember which one it is this week. We'll find out. And yeah,